Good morning, Mets fans, and welcome to a rainy Monday edition of Driving with Mr. Met. I am Mr. Met, and the Mets finished off another series victory over the weekend, taking 2 out of 3 from the Phillies. The Mets continue to play good baseball, certainly better baseball than they played earlier this season. It's too little too late at this point in the season, but as the eternal optimist that I am, I'm looking more and more positively upon what 2019 might hold. And I want to talk a little bit about an acquisition that I think the Mets should be targeting for next season. Not only is it rainy this morning, it's also cold. If you'll notice, I'm wearing my hooded sweatshirt today. It's 50-something degrees. Certainly not baseball weather. Raining. It is very, very likely or very possible that tonight's game might get rained out as the Mets start a 3-game set with the Marlins. But, you know, we'll see. It's cold. I'm not happy about it. But that's not what we're here to talk about. I want to talk a little bit about the weekend series with the Phillies. Michael Conforto swinging a good bat this weekend. We got a scare Saturday night when Noah Syndergaard got drilled in the ribs with a line drive, and then after the game he jokingly said, "I just hope the ball is okay." I just hope that Noah is okay. I hope he's not downplaying an injury. That would be a really, really big mistake, and I hope he's not doing it. Saturday night I was at the game, thanks to my friend Mike Stauffer, who got tickets and invited me to go along. And you know, when you call me or text me or whatever and say, "Hey, I have an extra ticket to the Mets game, do you want to go?" My answer is almost always like, "Does a bear shit in the woods?" Like, of course I want to go see the Mets. I don't ever say no to an opportunity to go to Citi Field and watch the Mets. And we were not disappointed on Saturday night. The Mets had a really fun night, really fun game. Syndergaard didn't have his best stuff, but they managed to keep the Mets in the game for the majority of the game. His control was off, his command was off, which is where the 5 walks came into play. Pitch count was high, but he did manage to pitch into the 7th inning, and like I said, gave us a little scare when that line drive was hit back at him, but he was fine, hopefully, and we'll see how that goes in his next start. Speaking of getting a little scared, just really quickly before I talk about next year, when Todd Frazier hit his home run, I had a little scare, as did Mike, who was sitting to my right. Never been at a game where a ball came at me, near me, ball in play, or out of play, or foul ball, or whatever. Just never had that happen to me. And we're sitting in left field, left center, right above just about 2 or 3 seats to the left of the M&M's logo that sticks up over the party deck there, the former Party City deck. And Frazier hits his home run, and he hits the ball off the bat, and you know, it was one of those at the crack of the bat, everyone stood up and started staring at the ball, and of course we did. And as we're staring at the ball, we're watching it as it's coming closer and closer, like a magnet right to us. And I'm thinking in my head, holy shit, this is going to happen. It was just a tiny bit to my right. It was hit literally right at us. My Mike got a hand on it, but the railing got in the way. We weren't able to make the catch, and it was our one chance to catch a foul ball. But whatever, it's okay. I digress. In the car on the way to the game on Saturday, and on the way home as well, Mike and I talked about the Mets starting to put players in the best position to win. You know, that's what the Mets have been saying for the last 5 or 6 years. We're doing our best to put our players in the right position to succeed, you know, to win. And the more I think about that, and the more I'm watching the team play now, presently, the more I keep thinking that the best place for these players to be in order to help them win is in their natural position. And this is, of course, a discussion starts out as a discussion about Dom Smith playing left field while Jay Bruce plays first base. And Brandon Nimmo plays center, and Michael Conforto plays right. In that equation, you've got 4 players playing out of position. And, you know, if they're serious about evaluating defense as much as they say they're going to be going forward, they've got to stop playing guys out of position. I like the idea of putting Jay Bruce at first base every now and then. That's okay. I don't like the idea of trying to make a first baseman who's actually a pretty damn good defensive first baseman in Dom Smith. I don't like the idea of putting him in the outfield full time. I just think it's a mistake. He's not an outfielder. You're asking him to learn on the job. It's a big mistake. You're at the same time forcing Michael Conforto to play right field where he does not play. Obviously, he can play there, which is to say that Wilmer Flores can play shortstop. He did, after all, play shortstop in our World Series run in 2015, but it doesn't mean that it's the best place for the player to succeed. And I'm going forward next year with some really positive vibes about this team, based upon the way they've been playing for the last 6 weeks. It's not been a fluke. This has not been like a week-long thing where the Mets railroaded some really shitty team. They've been playing good baseball for the better part of 2 months now. And they're doing that with a combination of younger players playing in the right positions. And that's what I keep coming back to. Put these guys in the right positions. So looking at next year, okay? Third base, Todd Frazier's going to be back. He's under contract, fine. Shortstop, Rosario. Loving what Rosario is doing at the top of the order. Terrific. McNeil. Can't say enough good things about McNeil. He'll be at second base. First base is a question mark, and I'm going to say let's put Dom Smith there just for now, just for the sake of argument. But if that doesn't work out and you're really committed to the Jay Bruce at first base thing, I'm okay with it as long as it doesn't mean that Dom Smith has to play the outfield. So here's where I'm going with this. Michael Conforto plays left field. Brandon Nimmo / Juan Lagares play center field, and I'm leaning more toward Brandon Nimmo because he's shown that he can actually stay on the field for the better course of his season. That leaves right field, and that's again assuming that Jay Bruce plays first base, which it seems like they're committed to doing. He's under contract for another 2 years. His feet and hips and ankle and whatever aren't in great shape, so Jay Bruce is going to play first base. That leaves the biggest glaring hole on the roster in right field. There is a free agent who plays a pretty damn good right field. And I hate his guts, and I think most of us do. But Bryce Harper is a free agent in the pending season that I think if the Mets made a legit run at, opened up the checkbook, said, look, Bryce, we know that you got hosed in D.C. with that butthole Rizzo running the show. We've got the Wilpons. No, I'm kidding. That's not the sales pitch. Bryce Harper's a perfect fit with the needs of the team as they're presently constructed. And I, for one, think back to the Omar Minaya, the stuff that we all pine for, like Omar going out and signing the biggest and best free agents. That was the thing that really got Omar's tenure off on a high note. And of course, we all know it didn't end on the same high note. But if the next general manager, whomever that might be, wants to get off to a good start and get some equity with the fans, could there be a better way to do that than by signing Bryce Harper to play right field for the New York Mets? The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking that it makes a lot of sense. I mean, it really makes a lot of sense. He really is a perfect fit. Excuse me, and he has shown that he can play other outfield positions. Now, again, I'm not arguing that we put guys out of position. If he's best suited to play right field, that's where he should play. But if you need to spell Jay Bruce if you need to get Dom Smith into a game, and he wants to play first base, let Jay Bruce play right field. Harper gets a day off. Harper can play center field. He's shown that he can do that. Maybe not great, but adequately. I'm not saying this is an everyday thing. And that's the thing with playing guys out of position. When you're doing it all the time, it's a recipe for disaster. When you're doing it every now and then just to rest guys, it's the way you play baseball. It's how you shuffle your roster around to give guys days off. I'm on board with this. The only problem is that we all know that the Wilpons won't spend any money. And that's the real shit of all of it. Because, like I said, when Omar added Beltran, when Omar added Pedro, when Omar went out after 2007, the collapse with the starting pitching as awful as it was, and he added Johan Santana, who at the time was the best pitcher in baseball. Those were big splash moments that announced to everybody the Mets are for real. Does it equate to winning? No. No, it does not. I mean, just ask the Tampa Bay Rays, who are like 11 games over 500 right now. You don't need to make a splash like this to win ball games. It's certainly not a prerequisite. But in New York, to get off on the right foot as the GM and to put the Mets in the best position to win in 2019, I'm arguing for the signing of Bryce Harper, and I don't care if it costs $400 million. Never in a million years thought I would say that, but I'm on board now because I think that the signing means more than spending the money. It means it shows the rest of baseball that the New York Mets are going to put a winning team around this unbelievable pitching staff that they finally have all kind of clicking together. What do you think? Am I nuts? Am I nuts for thinking it could happen? I mean, I sort of said it won't, but am I nuts for even thinking this is something that we should consider? Let me know in the comments below, or you can hit me up on Twitter at Mr_Met. That's MISTER_MET. I thank you for watching today. That'll be it. I'll be back tomorrow to talk about tonight's maybe played Miami Marlins game with Jacob deGrom on the mound. As an aside, I'm very excited that Jake got bumped from yesterday because that means he's going to pitch on Saturday in Boston with the 7 line in the house, and I will be among them. So that's going to be awesome. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And as always, let's go Mets.